You've been told your whole life you need 8 hours of sleep. It's the golden rule, right? Well, let's dive into this because we're about to challenge that entire idea. I mean, really think about it. What if trying so hard to get those 8 hours, spending more and more time in bed, is the very thing making you wake up exhausted? If you've ever slept for 9 hours and felt like you got hit by a truck, your body is definitely trying to tell you something. And that brings us to our first major point, what I like to call the great 8-hour lie. You see, most of the sleep advice we get is built on this one kind of flawed premise. So that 8-hour rule, it's not a law of physics, it's just an average. And averages can be really misleading. The reality is, your actual sleep need is genetic. It's coded into you, just like your height or your eye color. Some people are just built to thrive on 6.5 hours, while others genuinely need 9. Forcing yourself into a one-size-fits-all box that doesn't match your biology, that's just a recipe for frustration and really choppy, fragmented sleep. This leads us to probably the most crucial idea in this whole explainer. We have got to shift our focus from the hours on the clock to the quality of our rest. 6.5 hours of truly deep, uninterrupted sleep will leave you feeling way more refreshed than 8 hours of tossing and turning. It's not even close. The key metric here is something sleep scientists call sleep efficiency. It's actually a really simple idea. It's just the percentage of time you spend in bed that you are actually sleeping. All that time spent staring at the ceiling, worrying about not sleeping, yeah, that doesn't count as rest. That's just having anxiety while you're lying down. And this slide right here illustrates the problem perfectly. Take a look at this example of low efficiency. This person spent a full 9 hours in bed, but was only actually asleep for 6 of them. That's 3 hours of time in bed that wasn't restful at all. Compare that to the high efficiency person, who got more real sleep in less time. This is exactly why focusing on quality is so much more important than just clocking hours. Now, this is going to sound completely backwards, I know, but it's the core of a super powerful technique called sleep restriction therapy. By narrowing the window you actually allow for sleep, you build up something called sleep pressure. This concentrated drive to sleep helps you fall asleep faster, and it makes the sleep you do get much deeper and more restorative. So, if 8 hours is a myth, how in the world do you find your number? Well, that brings us to our next section. We're going to give you an actionable plan to do just that. It's time to become your own personal sleep scientist. Okay, here's a simple 2-week experiment you can try. First, and this is non-negotiable, lock in a consistent wake-up time. Every day, even weekends. That's your anchor. Then, pay really close attention to how you feel around 2 p.m. Not in the morning, that grogginess is just sleep inertia and it happens to everybody. The real test is your midday energy. If you're crashing hard, try adding 15 minutes to your sleep time. But if you feel pretty stable, try trimming 15 minutes. Just keep tweaking it until you find that sweet spot. All right, once you know your number, the very next step is to make sure your bedroom isn't secretly working against you. So let's talk about how to engineer the perfect environment for deep, quality rest. It all starts with temperature. See, your body needs to drop its core temperature to initiate sleep. So keeping your room in this cool range, think 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 to 19 Celsius, makes that whole process much easier for your body to do. Next up, light. And I'm not just talking about your phone screen. We're talking about the tiny, sneaky little sources of light pollution in your room. That little LED on your phone charger, the standby light on your TV. They seem so harmless, right? But they are absolutely bright enough to disrupt your brain's production of melatonin, which is your main sleep hormone. And it really is this simple. Your brain's on-off switch for sleep is controlled by light. It sees any bright light and thinks, oh, it must be daytime, time to stay awake. Covering up those tiny little LEDs with some electrical tape can make a shockingly huge difference. Your goal should be absolute total darkness. Okay, we've fixed your bedroom. Now let's zoom out and look at the daily habits that set the stage for a great night's sleep, long before your head even hits the pillow. Believe it or not, how you spend the first 30 minutes of your day has a massive impact on your night. Hitting snooze and scrolling through your phone just keeps you in that groggy sleep inertia phase. Instead, try this. Get sunlight in your eyes as soon as you possibly can. This sets a biological timer that will make you feel sleepy at the right time that evening. Add in some light movement and hydrate before you even think about coffee, and you'll shake off that morning fog so much faster. And speaking of coffee, let's talk about its curfew. Caffeine has what's called a half-life of about 5 to 6 hours. That means half of the caffeine from your 3 p.m. coffee is still buzzing around in your system at 9 p.m. A simple rule of thumb, your last cup of coffee should be at least 8 hours before you plan to go to bed. But what about that afternoon slump? There's an amazing little hack for that. It's going to sound ridiculous, but just stick with me here. It's called the coffee nap. It's incredibly simple. You drink a cup of coffee pretty quickly, then immediately lie down for a 20-minute power nap. See, it takes about 20 minutes for the caffeine to actually hit your brain, so you get the restorative benefits of the quick nap and you wake up just as the caffeine is kicking in. You get this awesome double boost of alertness. It is surprisingly effective. Ultimately, all of this leads to a really powerful shift in how you think about sleep. It's not this passive state that just happens to you every night. It's an active skill. And just like any skill, it can be learned, it can be practiced, and it can be perfected. You have far more control over this than you've been led to believe. So the only question left is, are you ready to start practicing?